The autumn leaves were falling gently around the old stone buildings of Standards University in Scotland when two young people met for the first time. It was September 2001, and the campus was buzzing with excitement as new students arrived to start their university journey. William Arthur Philip Lewis Windsor walked through the university gates carrying a simple backpack and trying his best to look like any other 18-year-old student. But he was not just any student. He was Prince William's second in line to the British throne, and his arrival at St Andrews had been planned carefully by royal advisors and security teams. Despite all the planning, William felt nervous. He wanted desperately to have a normal university experience, something his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, and father, Prince Charles, had never been able to enjoy. On the same crisp morning, Catherine Elizabeth Middleton was also starting her first day at St Andrews. Kate, as her friends called her, came from a comfortable middle-class family in Berkshire. Her parents, Michael and Carol Middleton, ran a successful party supply business and had worked hard to give their daughter the best education possible. Kate was confident and well prepared for university life. She had chosen to study history of art because she loved learning about different cultures and artistic movements throughout history. The first place William and Kate would meet was in the lecture hall of the art history department. Neither of them knew it at the time, but this moment would change both of their lives forever. William entered the large lecture hall looking around for a good seat. The room was filled with about 60 students, all chatting nervously and looking around at their new classmates. Kate was already seated in the third row from the front. She had arrived early because she wanted to make a good impression on her first day. She was wearing a simple blue sweater and jeans with her long brown hair flowing over her shoulders. When William walked into the room, several students turned to look at him. Word had already spread around campus that the prince was studying at St Andrews, but most students were trying to act normal around him. William chose a seat 2 rows behind Kate. From his position, he could see her clearly when she turned to talk to other students. He noticed how she smiled easily and seemed to make friends quickly with the people sitting around her. There was something warm and genuine about the way she interacted with others that caught his attention. Professor James Morrison began the first lecture by talking about Renaissance art and its impact on European culture. Kate took detailed notes and asked several thoughtful questions during the class. William found himself listening not just to the professor, but also paying attention to Kate's questions and comments. She clearly knew a lot about art history and was not afraid to share her opinions. After the lecture ended, students began filing out of the hall. William gathered his books, slowly hoping to catch Kate before she left. As she walked past his row, he looked up, and their eyes met for the first time. Kate smiled politely and said hello. William felt his heart skip a beat, but managed to respond with a friendly greeting. Outside the lecture hall, William caught up with Kate as she was talking to 2 other students about the assignment Professor Morrison had given them. The professor wanted each student to choose a Renaissance painting and write a detailed analysis of its artistic techniques and historical significance. William approached the small group and asked if he could join their discussion about the assignment. Kate introduced herself properly and shook his hand. Her grip was firm and confident. She looked directly into his eyes when she spoke, which impressed William because most people seemed nervous or overly formal when they first met him. The 4 students decided to walk to the library together to start researching their assignments. As they walked across the beautiful campus, Kate and William found themselves walking side by side. Kate asked William what he thought about the lecture and whether he had studied much art history before coming to university. William was surprised by how natural the conversation felt. Kate did not treat him differently because he was a prince. She teased him gently when he admitted he had never written a proper research paper before and offered to help him understand the library system, since she had visited St Andrews several times before starting university. By the time they reached the library, William knew that Kate Middleton was someone special. She was intelligent, funny, and completely unimpressed by his royal status. Kate, meanwhile, found William to be much more down-to-earth than she had expected. He seemed genuinely interested in learning and grateful for her offer to help with his studies. Neither of them could have imagined that this simple first meeting in an art history lecture would be the beginning of a love story that would capture the attention of the entire world. The weeks following their first meeting saw William and Kate spending more and more time together at St. Andrews University. What started as study sessions in the library quickly grew into a genuine friendship that surprised both of them with its natural flow and easy comfort. Every Tuesday and Thursday, they would sit in the same art history lecture hall, but now William made sure to arrive early enough to save a seat next to Kate. She would always have an extra pen ready for him, because he constantly forgot to bring writing materials to class. Kate found it amusing that a future king could remember complex historical dates, but somehow always forgot the simple things like pens and notebooks. After their morning lectures, they developed a routine of walking to the student cafeteria together. Kate would order a proper breakfast, while William usually just grabbed coffee and toast. She would often steal food from his plate, while explaining why he needed to eat better meals. William had never had anyone treat him so casually before, and he loved how Kate would scold him about his eating habits just like any concerned friend would do. Their study sessions in the library became legendary among other students. Kate was organized and focused while William was easily distracted and prone to making jokes during serious moments. She would create detailed study schedules and color-coded notes while he would doodle in the margins of his textbooks. Despite their different approaches to studying, they worked well together, and both of their grades improved significantly. Kate discovered that William had a wonderful sense of humor hidden beneath his formal royal upbringing. He could do perfect impressions of their professors and had a talent for finding the funny side of even the most boring lectures. She would often have to cover her mouth to stop herself from laughing out loud during classes when William would whisper clever observations about whatever they were studying. William found that Kate was incredibly intelligent and well-informed about current events. She read newspapers every morning and could debate politics and social issues with knowledge that impressed him. Her opinions were well thought out, and she was never afraid to disagree with him when she felt strongly about something. This was refreshing for William, who was used to people agreeing with everything he said. Their friendship extended beyond academic work. They joined the same student societies and attended university social events together. Kate introduced William to her friends from her dormitory, while he included her in gatherings with the small group of students who had become his closest companions at St. Andrews. During weekend evenings, they would often watch movies in the common room of William's residence hall. Kate would bring popcorn and choose films that William had never seen before. She was amazed to discover that despite his privileged background, he had missed out on many popular movies and television shows that most young people grew up watching. William appreciated how Kate treated him exactly like she treated everyone else in their friend group. She would argue with him about football teams, tease him when he said something particularly posh, and never hesitated to tell him when she thought he was being unreasonable about something. This normal treatment was precious to William, who had spent most of his life surrounded by people who were either overly formal or trying to impress him. Kate, meanwhile, was learning about the pressures and responsibilities that came with being born into the royal family. William would sometimes share his concerns about his future role and the expectations that weighed on him constantly. She listened without judgment and offered practical advice that helped him see situations from different perspectives. Their friends began to notice how comfortable William and Kate were with each other. They would sit closer together than necessary during group conversations, and their body language showed an intimacy that went beyond ordinary friendship. Kate would automatically fix William's collar when it was crooked, and he would gently brush leaves from her hair when they walked across campus. By the end of their first semester at St. Andrews, William and Kate had become inseparable friends who genuinely cared about each other's happiness and success. Neither of them realized that their easy friendship was slowly transforming into something deeper and more meaningful that would change both of their lives forever. March 2002 brought an event to St. Andrews University that would change everything between William and Kate. The annual charity fashion show called Don't Walk was being organized by students to raise money for local charities. Kate had volunteered to help with organizing the event, and somehow found herself agreeing to model in the show when one of the original models dropped out at the last minute. Kate was nervous about modeling because she had never done anything like it before. She was naturally graceful and had good posture from years of playing sports, but walking on a runway in front of hundreds of people felt completely different from anything she had experienced. Her friends encouraged her by saying she would be perfect for it, and that the cause was worth stepping out of her comfort zone. William bought a ticket to the fashion show without knowing that Kate would be participating as a model. He thought it would be a fun evening out and a chance to support student charity work. He invited several of his friends to join him, and they found seats in the middle of the crowded venue. The atmosphere was lively with music playing and students chatting excitedly about the upcoming show. The fashion show featured clothes designed by students from the art and design departments. Most of the outfits were creative and artistic rather than traditional fashion pieces. The models were all volunteers from different university departments and ranged from confident, experienced performers to nervous first-timers who were clearly outside their comfort zones. Kate was scheduled to appear in the middle of the show wearing a striking outfit that had been designed by a final-year fashion student. The piece was a black bandeau top and skirt that could also be worn as a dress with a sheer black and gold overlay that sparkled under the stage lights. It was bold and sophisticated and completely different from the casual clothes Kate usually wore around campus. When the announcer called Kate's name, William looked up from his conversation, with friends expecting to see her in the audience somewhere. Instead, he watched in stunned silence as Kate appeared at the top of the runway, looking absolutely radiant. The sheer overlay caught the lights perfectly, and she moved with a confidence and grace that took everyone's breath away. William felt his heart stop as he watched Kate walk down the runway. This was not the same girl who shared her lunch with him in the cafeteria or helped him organize his study notes. This was a beautiful, sophisticated woman who commanded attention from every person in the room. Her long hair was styled in loose waves, and she wore subtle makeup that highlighted her natural beauty perfectly. The audience responded enthusiastically to Kate's appearance with loud applause and cheers. She smiled confidently as she reached the end of the runway and paused for photos before turning to walk back. William found himself clapping harder than anyone else and standing up to get a better view as she passed by his section of the audience. Kate spotted William in the crowd as she made her way back up the runway. When their eyes met, she gave him a special smile that seemed to be just for him. William felt a rush of emotions that he had never experienced before. Suddenly, his friend Kate had become someone he saw in a completely new light. After the show ended, William made his way backstage to congratulate Kate on her performance. He found her surrounded by friends and other models who were all talking excitedly about how well the show had gone. When Kate saw William approaching, she broke away from the group to talk to him privately. William struggled to find the right words to tell Kate how amazing she had looked on the runway. He was usually articulate and confident, but seeing Kate in such a different context had left him feeling tongue-tied and nervous. He managed to tell her that she had been the highlight of the entire show and that everyone in the audience had been impressed by her performance. Kate blushed at William's compliments and thanked him for being so supportive. She admitted that she had been terrified before going on stage, but that seeing friendly faces in the audience, including his, had helped calm her nerves. She had not expected to enjoy the experience as much as she did. As they talked, William realized that his feelings for Kate had shifted dramatically during the course of one evening. She was no longer just his study partner and friend. She was someone he found himself thinking about in a romantic way for the first time. The easy friendship they had built over months suddenly felt charged with new possibilities and emotions. Kate noticed the change in how William was looking at her and talking to her. There was an intensity in his attention that had not been there before. She felt flattered and excited by this new dynamic, but also slightly nervous about what it might mean for their friendship. That night marked the beginning of a new chapter in William and Kate's relationship. The fashion show had revealed something that had been building slowly between them, and now neither of them could pretend that they were just friends anymore. The weeks following the fashion show brought a new kind of excitement and nervousness to both William and Kate's lives. They both felt the shift in their relationship, but neither was quite sure how to address it directly. Their friendship had been so natural and easy that moving into romantic territory felt both thrilling and scary. William found himself thinking about Kate constantly. During lectures, he would watch her taking notes and wonder what she was thinking about. When she laughed at something funny, he felt proud if he had been the one to make her smile. Simple things like walking across campus together now felt charged with meaning and possibility. Kate was experiencing similar feelings but was more cautious about showing them. She had never dated anyone famous before, and she understood that William's life came with complications that most relationships did not have. She valued their friendship too much to risk ruining it by pushing for something more if he was not interested. The breakthrough came during a quiet evening in William's student accommodation. They had been studying together for an upcoming exam when William suddenly closed his textbook and looked directly at Kate. He told her that he needed to be honest about how his feelings for her had changed since the fashion show. He explained that he could not stop thinking about her and that he wanted to explore what might develop between them if she felt the same way. Kate was relieved to hear William express what she had been feeling as well. She admitted that she had been hoping he would say something because she was developing strong romantic feelings for him too. They talked for hours that night about what dating might mean for both of them and how they could handle the unique challenges that would come with their relationship. They decided to keep their new romance completely private at first. William explained that once the media found out about their relationship, Kate's life would change dramatically and permanently. They both wanted time to explore their feelings without outside pressure and scrutiny from the press or the public. Their secret dating period was filled with romantic moments that felt even more special because of their privacy. William would pick flowers for Kate during their walks along the Scottish coastline near Standrews. They would have picnics in secluded spots where they could talk and laugh without worrying about being seen or photographed. Kate learned more about the weight of responsibility that William carried as future king. He shared his concerns about living up to expectations and his worries about how his royal duties might affect any serious relationship he pursued. Kate listened carefully and offered him emotional support that helped him feel less alone with these pressures. William discovered that Kate had dreams and ambitions of her own that went far beyond just being someone's girlfriend. She talked about wanting to make a positive difference in the world and her interest in working with charities that helped children and families. Her goals and values aligned perfectly with his own sense of duty and service. Their relationship deepened quickly because it was built on the strong foundation of friendship they had already established. They knew each other's personalities, habits, and quirks, so the romantic aspects of their relationship developed naturally. They could be completely themselves with each other without pretense or performance. Evening dates became their specialty since they were less likely to be noticed after dark. They would have dinner at small restaurants in nearby villages or watch movies in William's room with takeaway food. Kate taught William to cook simple meals which he found surprisingly relaxing and enjoyable. William surprised Kate with thoughtful gestures that showed how well he knew her. He would remember her favorite coffee order and have it waiting for her before early morning lectures. He bought her books by authors he mentioned wanting to read and left them with sweet notes in her mailbox. Kate supported William through the stress of his studies and helped him prepare for important exams. She was patient when he felt overwhelmed by academic work on top of his royal obligations. Her belief in his abilities gave him confidence to push through difficult periods. Their friends began to suspect that something romantic was developing between William and Kate, but both of them were skilled at acting naturally in group settings. They were careful not to display obvious signs of affection. When others were around, though, their close friends noticed subtle changes in how they interacted. The secrecy of their relationship made every moment together feel precious and special. They cherished quiet conversations late at night and stolen kisses when no one was watching. Both of them knew that this private phase of their romance would not last forever, but they were determined to enjoy it fully while they could. By the end of their second year at St. Andrews, William and Kate had fallen deeply in love. Their secret romance had given them the foundation they would need to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their very public future together. During their final year at St. Andrews University, whispers about William and Kate's relationship began to reach beyond the small circle of students who had suspected their romance. British tabloid newspapers started printing stories about the prince's mysterious girlfriend, though they did not yet have clear photographs or confirmed details about Kate's identity. The first major breakthrough for the press came when a photographer captured William and Kate skiing together during a university holiday trip to the Swiss Alps. The images were grainy and taken from a distance, but they clearly showed the two young people laughing and enjoying each other's company in a way that suggested they were more than just friends. Kate woke up one morning to find her photograph on the front pages of several British newspapers with headlines speculating about her background and her relationship with William. Reporters had quickly discovered her full name, her family's business, and details about her education and upbringing. Overnight, she went from being a private university student to a public figure whose every move would be watched and analyzed. The attention was overwhelming and frightening for Kate, who had lived a relatively normal life until that point. Photographers began following her around St. Andrews campus, taking pictures of her walking to classes, going to the library, and meeting friends for meals. Every outfit she wore was scrutinized and commented on in fashion magazines and newspaper-style sections. Kate's parents, Michael and Carol Middleton, suddenly found reporters camping outside their family home in Berkshire, asking neighbors for information about their daughter and her relationship with the prince. The Middleton family had to install new security measures and learn to cope with constant media attention that felt invasive and stressful. William was deeply concerned about the impact the media scrutiny was having on Kate and her family. He had grown up with constant press attention, but Kate was experiencing it for the first time as an adult, and it was clearly taking an emotional toll on her. He tried to protect her as much as possible, but there were limits to what he could do without official royal security support. The university administration at St. Andrews worked hard to maintain some privacy for both William and Kate during their final months of study. They increased security on campus and tried to prevent unauthorized photographers from accessing areas where students lived and studied. However, the media interest continued to grow as more details about their relationship became public knowledge. Kate handled the pressure with remarkable grace and dignity that impressed everyone who observed her during this difficult period. She continued attending her classes and completing her degree requirements despite the constant attention. She never complained publicly about the intrusion into her privacy and maintained her composure even when photographers followed her to the grocery store or gym. The media coverage was not always fair or accurate. Some newspapers criticized Kate's family background, suggesting that she was not from an appropriate social class to date a future king. Others made cruel comments about her appearance or questioned her intelligence and suitability as a potential royal bride. These attacks were hurtful and difficult for Kate to ignore. William was angry about the unfair treatment Kate was receiving from some sections of the press. He issued a rare public statement through his father's office asking for Kate's privacy to be respected and criticizing newspapers that had published inaccurate stories about her. This was one of the first times William had publicly defended someone he cared about, and it showed how serious their relationship had become. Kate's friends and family rallied around her during this challenging time. Her parents provided emotional support and practical advice about dealing with media attention. Her university friends continued to treat her normally and helped create spaces where she could relax and be herself without worrying about cameras or reporters. The constant scrutiny forced William and Kate to have serious conversations about their future together. Kate had to decide whether she was willing to accept a lifetime of public attention if their relationship continued to develop. William had to consider whether it was fair to ask someone he loved to give up their privacy and normal life to be with him. Despite the challenges, Kate proved that she had the strength and character to handle the pressures that came with dating a member of the royal family. Her dignified response to media attention and her loyalty to William during a difficult period showed everyone, including William himself, that she might be capable of taking on even greater responsibilities in the future. The period of initial public scrutiny was a crucial test for William and Kate's relationship. It revealed Kate's inner strength and William's protective instincts, while forcing both of them to confront the realities of what their future together might involve. Their love survived this early challenge and emerged even stronger than before. After graduating from Stanford University in 2005, William and Kate faced the challenge of maintaining their relationship while building separate careers and dealing with intense media pressure. These years would test their love in ways they had never experienced during a protected environment of university life. William began his military training with the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, which required him to live on base and follow a strict schedule that left little time for personal relationships. The training was physically and mentally demanding, and William was determined to prove himself as a serious military officer rather than just a prince-playing soldier. Kate, meanwhile, had to figure out what to do with her life while being constantly photographed and analyzed by the media. She took a job with a fashion company called Jigsaw, but found it difficult to work normally when photographers followed her to the office and speculated about every aspect of her employment. Simple tasks like commuting to work or having lunch with colleagues became complicated by media attention. The couple's relationship suffered from the long periods of separation caused by William's military commitments. They could only see each other on weekends when William was given leave from Sandhurst, and even then their time together was limited and often interrupted by his royal duties or training requirements. Media coverage of Kate during this period became increasingly harsh and personal. Tabloid newspapers began calling her Waity Katie, suggesting that she was just sitting around waiting for William to propose marriage instead of building her own career. The nickname was cruel and unfair, but it stuck and caused Kate considerable pain and embarrassment. Fashion magazines analyzed every outfit Kate wore and criticized her choices when they felt she looked too casual or not stylish enough for someone dating a prince. She was photographed at nightclubs and social events, and her behavior was scrutinized for any sign that she might not be suitable royal material. Kate's employment situation became a constant source of media speculation. When she left her job at Jigsaw to work for her family's party supply, business reporters suggested that she was not serious about having a career. Every professional decision she made was viewed through the lens of her relationship with William, rather than being evaluated on its own merits. The pressure affected Kate's confidence and emotional well-being. She lost weight and appeared stressed in many photographs taken during this period. Friends worried about her ability to cope with the relentless attention and criticism. Kate rarely complained publicly, but those close to her knew that she was struggling with the impossible situation of being famous without having any official role or protection. William was also finding it difficult to balance his military career with his personal life and royal obligations. He felt guilty about the treatment Kate was receiving from the media, but was limited in how much he could protect her without making their relationship even more of a public circus. His military training left him exhausted, and he had little energy for dealing with relationship problems. The couple had several serious conversations about whether their relationship had a future given the challenges they were facing. Both of them were young and unsure about making lifetime commitments while dealing with such extraordinary circumstances. The fairy tale romance of their university years felt very distant from the harsh realities of their current situation. In April 2007, the pressure finally became too much, and William and Kate decided to take a break from their relationship. The separation was mutual and amicable, but it was still painful for both of them. They both needed time to think about what they really wanted from life, and whether they were strong enough as individuals and as a couple to handle the challenges that lay ahead. The breakup made headlines around the world, with newspapers speculating about the reasons for the split and whether it was permanent or temporary. Kate handled the media attention around the breakup with the same dignity she had shown throughout their relationship. She continued working and socializing normally while refusing to speak publicly about her personal life. During their time apart, both William and Kate learned important lessons about themselves and what they wanted from their future. William realized how much Kate meant to him and how empty his life felt without her companionship and support. Kate discovered that she was stronger than she had thought and that she could handle public scrutiny without losing her sense of self. The separation lasted only a few months, but it was a crucial period that allowed both of them to mature and gain perspective on their relationship. When they eventually reconciled later in 2007, they were both more certain about their commitment to each other and better prepared for the challenges that would continue to test their love. The difficult years between 2005 and 2007 were a necessary part of William and Kate's journey toward marriage. They learned that their love was strong enough to survive separation, and that they were both capable of handling the unique pressures that came with their relationship. By 2010, William and Kate had been together on and off for nearly 8 years. Their relationship had survived university pressure, media scrutiny, military separations, and a temporary breakup. Both of them had grown into mature adults who understood the challenges they would face if they decided to spend their lives together. William had completed his military training and was serving as a search and rescue helicopter pilot with the Royal Air Force in Wales. Kate had found her confidence again after their difficult period in the mid-2000s and was working with her family's business, while also doing some photography work that she enjoyed. Their relationship had settled into a comfortable rhythm based on mutual respect and deep love. The couple had discussed marriage many times over the years, but William had been hesitant to propose because he wanted to be absolutely certain that Kate understood what she would be giving up by joining the royal family. He knew that once they were engaged, there would be no going back to a private life, and he wanted Kate to have time to experience independence before making such a permanent commitment. In October 2010, William and Kate traveled to Kenya for a romantic holiday that would change their lives forever. They had chosen Kenya partly because it held special significance for William's family. His father, Prince Charles, had proposed to his first wife, Lady Diana Spencer, during a trip to Kenya in 1981, making the location meaningful for royal romantic traditions. William had been carrying his mother Diana's engagement ring with him for several weeks before the Kenya trip. The ring was a stunning sapphire surrounded by diamonds that had become one of the most famous pieces of jewelry in the world. William felt that proposing with his mother's ring would be a way to include Diana in their special moment, even though she had died when he was just 15 years old. The couple stayed at a remote safari lodge in the Kenyan highlands surrounded by beautiful landscape and wildlife. They spent their days exploring the area and enjoying the peace and privacy that was rare in their normal lives. William was nervous about the proposal, but also excited about finally taking this important step with the woman he loved. On October 20, 2010, William and Kate went for a walk near their lodge to watch the sunset over the Kenyan landscape. The setting was perfect, with golden light reflecting off the mountains and complete privacy from cameras and crowds. William had been looking for the right moment all day and finally decided that this peaceful, beautiful location was where he wanted to ask Kate to marry him. William got down on one knee and pulled out the famous sapphire ring. He told Kate that he loved her more than anything in the world and that he could not imagine his future without her by his side. He asked her to marry him and to accept all the responsibilities and challenges that would come with being his wife and eventually the Queen of England. Kate was completely surprised by the proposal, even though they had talked about marriage before. She later said that she had not expected William to propose during their Kenya holiday, and that she was overwhelmed with emotion when she saw Diana's ring. She said yes immediately, and they spent the rest of the evening celebrating their engagement privately. The newly engaged couple decided to keep their engagement secret for several weeks so they could tell their families and closest friends before making a public announcement. Kate called her parents from Kenya to share the exciting news, and William contacted his father and grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, to inform them of his plans to marry. William and Kate returned to London and continued their normal routines while secretly planning how to announce their engagement to the world. Kate had to be careful not to wear her engagement ring in public, and they both had to act normally around friends and colleagues who did not yet know about their engagement. On November 16, 2010, Clarence House officially announced the engagement of Prince William and Catherine Middleton. The statement said that the wedding would take place in 2011 and that both families were delighted with the news. The announcement was accompanied by official photographs of the couple showing Kate wearing Diana's engagement ring. The public reaction to the engagement was overwhelmingly positive. People around the world were excited about the prospect of a royal wedding, and Kate was praised for her grace and dignity throughout her long relationship with William. The British public seemed ready to embrace Kate as a future member of the royal family. William and Kate gave their first official interview as an engaged couple shortly after the announcement. Kate spoke movingly about being honored to wear Diana's ring and about her excitement at joining the royal family. William talked about his long relationship with Kate and his certainty that she would be an excellent addition to the monarchy. The proposal in Kenya marked the end of one chapter in William and Kate's love story and the beginning of another. After years of uncertainty and challenges, they had finally committed to spending their lives together and sharing the unique responsibilities that came with their royal future. April 29, 2011 was declared a national holiday in the United Kingdom as the country prepared for the wedding of Prince William and Catherine Middleton. The ceremony would take place at Westminster Abbey in London, with nearly 2,000 guests in attendance and an estimated 2 billion people watching on television around the world. The months leading up to the wedding were filled with intense planning and preparation. Kate worked with royal advisors to learn about protocol and traditions, while also making personal choices about flowers, music, and other details that would make the ceremony special for her and William. She had to balance royal expectations with her own preferences and family traditions. Kate chose Sarah Burton from the fashion house Alexander McQueen to design her wedding dress. The creation of the dress was kept completely secret, with Kate attending multiple fittings at private locations to avoid any photographs leaking to the media. The final design was elegant and timeless, featuring a fitted bodice and full skirt made from ivory silk with intricate lace detailing. On the morning of the wedding, Kate woke up at the Goring Hotel in London, where she had spent the night with her family. She had her hair and makeup done by her regular stylists, who had been sworn to secrecy about her wedding day look. Kate wanted to look like herself rather than dramatically different, so she chose a natural makeup style and wore her hair in a half-up, half-down style. William spent the night before his wedding at Clarence's house with his brother Prince Harry, who was serving as his best man. Both brothers were nervous and excited about the big day ahead. William had breakfast with his father, Prince Charles, and his stepmother, Camilla, before getting dressed in his military uniform as Colonel of the Irish Guards. The streets of London were lined with thousands of people who had come from around the world to witness the royal wedding. Many had camped out overnight to secure good viewing spots along the route that Kate's car would take from the hotel to Westminster Abbey. The atmosphere was festive and celebratory, with people waving British flags and cheering for the couple. Kate left the Goring Hotel in a Rolls-Royce with her father, Michael Middleton, who would walk her down the aisle at Westminster Abbey. As their car traveled through London, crowds of people cheered and took photographs. Kate appeared calm and happy, waving to well-wishers along the route to the Abbey. Westminster Abbey had been decorated with trees and flowers, creating a beautiful natural setting for the ceremony. The guest list included members of royal families from around the world, as well as politicians, celebrities, and friends of William and Kate from their university days and military service. Kate's family and friends were given prominent seats, showing how important they were to her. When Kate arrived at Westminster Abbey and stepped out of the car, the world got its first glimpse of her wedding dress. The design was immediately praised for its elegance and perfect fit. Kate's sister Pippa served as maid of honor, wearing a simple white dress that complemented Kate's gown perfectly without competing for attention. As Kate walked down the long aisle of Westminster Abbey on her father's arm, William waited at the altar wearing his red military uniform. When he first saw Kate in her wedding dress, his face showed pure joy and emotion. Kate looked radiant and confident as she made her way toward her future husband with a beautiful smile on her face. The wedding ceremony was conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury and included both traditional Anglican elements and personal touches chosen by William and Kate. They had selected hymns and readings that were meaningful to them, and Kate chose to omit the word obey from her wedding vows, showing her modern approach to marriage. Kate's wedding vows were spoken clearly and confidently, as she promised to love, comfort, honor, and protect William for the rest of their lives. William's vows were equally heartfelt, as he promised to be Kate's loving, faithful, and devoted husband. The exchange of rings was watched by billions of people around the world who were witnessing the historic moment. After the ceremony, William and Kate traveled from Westminster Abbey to Buckingham Palace in an open-topped carriage, so that crowds along the route could see them as newly married husband and wife. Kate wore a second smaller tiara for the carriage ride, and both she and William waved continuously to the cheering crowds who lined the streets of London. At Buckingham Palace, the newly married couple appeared on the famous balcony with other members of the royal family to greet the thousands of people who had gathered in front of the palace. The crowd cheered loudly when William and Kate kissed twice on the balcony, creating iconic images that would be remembered forever. The wedding reception was held at Buckingham Palace with speeches from Prince Charles and Kate's father, Michael Middleton. Prince Harry gave a memorable best man speech that made everyone laugh, including several gentle jokes about his older brother. William and Kate's first dance as husband and wife was to a song they had chosen together during their engagement. The royal wedding of William and Kate was praised around the world as a perfect blend of royal tradition and personal style. Kate's grace and beauty throughout the day impressed everyone who watched and marked her successful transition from private citizen to public royal figure. The wedding marked the beginning of their new life together as the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. After their spectacular wedding in 2011, William and Kate began their new life as the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. They moved to a farmhouse on the island of Anglesey in Wales, where William continued his work as a search and rescue helicopter pilot. This quiet period allowed them to enjoy married life away from the constant attention of London, while Kate adjusted to her new role as a senior member of the royal family. Kate embraced her royal duties with enthusiasm and natural grace. She began taking on patronages of various charities and organizations, focusing particularly on causes related to children's welfare, mental health, and the arts. Her first official solo engagement was visiting a university in Leicester, and despite being nervous, she handled the occasion perfectly, showing the poise and warmth that would become her trademark. In December 2012, William and Kate announced that they were expecting their first child. The pregnancy announcement came after Kate was hospitalized for severe morning sickness, but the news brought joy to people around the world who had been hoping for this development. Kate continued her royal duties throughout her pregnancy, though she had to cancel some engagements due to illness. Prince George Alexander Louis was born on July 22, 2013 at St Mary's Hospital in London. William was present for the birth, and the couple's joy was evident when they emerged from the hospital to present their son to the waiting media and crowds. Kate looked radiant just hours after giving birth and handled the intense media attention with remarkable composure. 2 years later, in May 2015, Kate gave birth to their daughter, Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana. The little girl was named after William's grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, and his late mother, Princess Diana, creating meaningful connections to both sides of the royal family. Charlotte's birth was celebrated around the world, and Kate again impressed everyone with her grace during the public appearances following the birth. In April 2018, Kate and William welcomed their third child, Prince Louis Arthur Charles. With 3 young children, Kate had to balance her royal duties with motherhood, but she managed both roles beautifully. She was often seen at school events and activities with her children, showing her commitment to giving them as normal a childhood as possible despite their royal status. Kate's confidence and skill as a working royal grew significantly over the years. She became known for her ability to connect with people from all walks of life, whether she was visiting homeless shelters, meeting with world leaders, or talking to children at schools. Her natural warmth and genuine interest in others made her extremely popular with the British public. The Duchess developed particular expertise in early childhood development and mental health awareness. She launched several major initiatives, focusing on the importance of the first 5 years of a child's life, and worked to reduce stigma around mental health issues. Her work was taken seriously by experts in these fields who appreciated her thoughtful approach and genuine commitment. William and Kate's marriage remained strong throughout the challenges of royal life and parenthood. They supported each other through difficult periods, including the death of William's grandfather, Prince Philip, in 2021, and the declining health of Queen Elizabeth II. Their partnership became a source of stability for the royal family during times of change and uncertainty. In September 2022, Queen Elizabeth II died peacefully at Balmoral Castle in Scotland at the age of 96. Her death marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter for the British monarchy. William's father immediately became King Charles II, and William automatically became the heir apparent and Prince of Wales. Kate's new title as Princess of Wales carried special significance because it had previously been held by William's beloved mother, Princess Diana. Kate approached the responsibility with respect and humility, understanding the emotional weight of the title for William and for people who had loved Diana. She was determined to honor Diana's memory while creating her own path as Princess of Wales. The transition to their new roles brought increased responsibilities and public attention. William and Kate had to take on more engagements and represent the royal family at important state occasions. They handled the increased pressure with the same grace and professionalism they had shown throughout their marriage, proving themselves ready for the greater responsibilities that lay ahead. King Charles II's coronation in May 2023 was a historic occasion that marked the formal beginning of his reign. William and Kate play prominent roles in the ceremony, with Kate wearing a specially designed gown and crown that reflected her new status as Princess of Wales. The children Prince George, Charlotte, and Louis also participated in the coronation, showing the next generation of the royal family. As Princess of Wales, Kate continued to expand her charitable work while also preparing for her future role as Queen Consort. She studied constitutional history and royal protocol while maintaining her focus on causes close to her heart. Her evolution from university student to future queen had been remarkable to witness, and she had earned widespread respect and admiration. William and Kate's love story had come full circle from their first meeting in a university lecture hall to their positions as future King and Queen of England. Their relationship had weathered every challenge thrown at it and emerged stronger each time. They had proven that true love could survive the unique pressures of royal life, and that two people committed to each other could face any obstacle together. Looking toward the future, William and Kate continued to modernize the monarchy while respecting its traditions. They were raising their children to understand their responsibilities, while also encouraging them to pursue their own interests and dreams. Their approach to royal duty balanced service to the country with genuine care for their family, creating a model for 21st-century royalty that inspired people around the world.